Women who play games often expect the same reaction. They expect you to chase, explain, complain, and stay available no matter how they treat you. But when you respond differently, everything changes. Stoicism teaches that your greatest strength is not controlling another person. It is controlling yourself. These 5 simple habits will help you protect your dignity, build real confidence, and become impossible to manipulate. Comment: no more games. Number 1. Walk away. Stop chasing someone who keeps testing your patience. Every time you remain in a place where respect keeps disappearing, you quietly teach other people that your standards can be ignored. Many men stay because they hope she will suddenly become the woman she was at the beginning, but hope is not a strategy, and waiting does not change repeated behavior. If she keeps giving attention only when she thinks you are leaving, if she keeps pulling you close and then pushing you away, if every week becomes another emotional test where you are expected to prove your value again, you are not building a healthy connection. You are becoming trapped inside a cycle that slowly drains your confidence. The hardest truth is that someone who truly values your presence does not constantly make you question where you stand. She does not keep creating confusion while expecting unlimited patience from you. Every extra explanation, every desperate message, every attempt to fix what only she can choose to change, slowly moves you further away from your own peace. This is why walking away becomes one of the strongest decisions you can ever make. Not because you want to punish her, and not because you want her to chase you, but because you finally decide that your self-respect is worth more than temporary attention. The moment you stop accepting mixed signals as affection, your thinking becomes clearer. You stop searching for hidden meanings behind every message. You stop checking your phone every few minutes, hoping today will somehow be different. You stop allowing one person's choices to control the direction of your entire day. That is where your strength begins to return. Many men stay because they fear losing someone, yet they never stop to ask how much of themselves they are already losing by remaining. Every day they become more anxious, more distracted, less focused on their goals, less excited about life, and less connected to the man they once wanted to become. No relationship is worth sacrificing your identity. A woman who truly respects you should never require you to abandon your dignity just to keep her interested. If she only values you when she thinks she might lose you, then her attention was never built on genuine appreciation in the first place. Your job is not to convince someone to see your value. Your job is to live in a way that reflects your value, whether anyone notices or not. When you quietly remove yourself from situations where respect is missing, something remarkable happens inside you. The constant pressure begins to disappear. Your sleep improves because your mind is no longer filled with endless questions. Your focus returns because your energy is no longer being spent trying to solve problems that do not belong to you. You begin investing that energy into your health, your work, your purpose, and your future. Instead of asking why she acted the way she did, you begin asking how you can become stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. That single change transforms your life because it places your attention back where it has always belonged. There will always be people who appreciate consistency and honesty, but they can never find you if you keep standing in places where your presence is taken for granted. Walking away is not giving up. Walking away is refusing to negotiate with disrespect. It is refusing to trade your peace for uncertainty. It is choosing a future where your confidence is built on your own actions instead of another person's changing emotions. Every step away from chaos is a step toward becoming the man you are capable of becoming. And once you understand that, leaving no longer feels like losing. It feels like finally choosing yourself. Number 2. Build yourself. Turn your attention back to your own life. The greatest mistake many men make after disappointment is allowing one person's choices to become the center of every thought they have. Days pass while they replay conversations, imagine different endings, and wonder what they could have done differently. Yet nothing in their own life moves forward. Their goals wait. Their health declines. Their discipline becomes weaker, and their confidence slowly fades, because all of their energy is flowing towards someone who is no longer investing the same energy in them. The strongest response is not proving that she made a mistake. The strongest response is becoming a man whose future no longer depends on anyone else's approval. Every hour you spend improving yourself creates a reward that no one can take away. Every workout strengthens more than your body, because it teaches you to keep promises to yourself. Every new skill increases your confidence, because it reminds you that growth is always available. Every financial goal you achieve creates more freedom to build the life you truly want. Every disciplined morning makes it easier to ignore distractions that once controlled you. Little by little, your identity begins to change. You stop waking up wondering whether she will message you and start waking up thinking about the next challenge you want to overcome. You stop measuring your worth by how much attention you receive and start measuring it by the standards you refuse to lower. This change does not happen overnight, but every single day you choose action over overthinking. You become a little stronger. Every difficult experience carries a lesson if you are willing to learn from it. Maybe it teaches you to notice unhealthy patterns sooner. Maybe it teaches you to stop making excuses when someone's actions repeatedly fail to match their words. Maybe it teaches you that your happiness should never rest in another person's hands. Whatever the lesson is, use it to become wiser instead of becoming bitter. Strong character is built by responding well to difficult moments, not by pretending difficult moments never happen. The more you invest in yourself, the less desperate you become for validation, because you begin creating a life that already has purpose. You carry yourself differently because your confidence comes from your daily habits instead of compliments. You speak with more certainty because your actions support your words. You become calmer because you know that your future depends far more on your discipline than on anyone else's opinion. Ironically, this is when people begin seeing you differently. They notice that you are no longer chasing approval. They notice that your mood is no longer controlled by attention. They notice that your standards remain steady even when circumstances become difficult. That quiet confidence cannot be copied because it is earned one decision at a time. Build a life that excites you whether someone stays or leaves. Build friendships that challenge you to grow. Build habits that make you proud when nobody's watching. Build a career that gives you purpose. Build a body that reflects discipline. Build a mind that stays calm under pressure. Build standards that cannot be bought with temporary attention. When your entire life begins moving in the right direction, you stop worrying about proving your worth, because your life becomes the proof. The greatest victory is never making someone regret how they treated you. The greatest victory is becoming so focused, so disciplined, and so grounded that the people who once distracted you no longer have the power to interrupt your path. That is how you turn disappointment into strength, confusion into clarity, and temporary pain into a future that is far greater than the life you once imagined. Number 3. Say less. Stop explaining yourself again and again. Every time you believe one more conversation will finally change someone's mind, you place your peace in the hands of another person instead of protecting it yourself. Many men spend countless hours trying to find the perfect words, believing that if they speak more clearly, become more patient, or explain their intentions one more time, everything will suddenly become different. Yet the problem is often not a lack of understanding. If she repeatedly ignores your boundaries, dismisses your concerns, twists your words, disappears whenever accountability becomes uncomfortable, or only returns when she notices you are beginning to move on, another long conversation rarely changes anything. It simply keeps you trapped inside the same exhausting cycle. Every message you send, hoping to be understood, becomes another reminder that you are seeking permission to be respected instead of expecting it as the standard. There comes a point where silence says more than another paragraph ever could. There comes a point where your actions become stronger than your explanations. Instead of defending every decision, calmly live according to your values. Instead of answering every accusation, continue building a life that reflects discipline, honesty, and purpose. Instead of trying to convince her that you deserve better treatment, quietly refuse to remain where respect is missing. That is not weakness. That is confidence that no longer depends on another person's opinion. Many men become emotionally exhausted because they keep carrying conversations that should have ended long ago. They replay every disagreement in their mind, wondering whether different words would have produced a different outcome, while overlooking the simple truth that consistent actions reveal far more than emotional speeches. Someone who genuinely values your presence does not require endless convincing to treat you with basic respect. Someone who cares about keeping you in their life pays attention when you communicate clearly the first time. When you repeatedly explain the same boundary while accepting the same behavior, your words slowly lose their meaning because they are no longer supported by action. Strong boundaries are not measured by how often they are spoken. They are measured by whether they are upheld. This is why speaking less becomes such a powerful habit. It forces you to replace emotional reactions with deliberate decisions. Before answering a message, pause. Before defending yourself, ask whether the conversation will genuinely improve anything. Before trying to prove your intentions, ask whether your daily actions already provide the answer. Very often they do. The quieter you become, the more clearly you begin seeing people for who they really are instead of who you hope they will become. Silence gives you space to observe patterns instead of becoming distracted by promises. It allows you to notice consistency instead of becoming attached to occasional moments of affection. It reminds you that character is revealed over time, not during carefully chosen words. This change transforms your confidence because you stop measuring your value by someone else's response. If she chooses not to appreciate honesty, discipline, and loyalty, that decision belongs to her. It does not reduce your worth. Your responsibility isn't to persuade someone to recognize your value. Your responsibility is to continue living in a way that reflects it every single day. As you begin speaking with greater intention, something remarkable happens inside you. Your thoughts become calmer because you are no longer preparing endless arguments in your head. Your emotions become steadier because you stop reacting to every change in another person's behavior. Your focus returns because your energy is no longer consumed by conversations that lead nowhere. You begin investing that energy into your goals, your family, your work, your health, and your future. People notice this change without you announcing it. They notice that you no longer chase every disagreement. They notice that you remain composed under pressure. They notice that your confidence comes from quiet certainty instead of loud declarations. That kind of presence earns respect because it is rooted in self-control rather than the need for approval. There is great freedom in accepting that not every misunderstanding must be corrected, not every criticism deserves an answer, and not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your time and attention. Protect your words by using them with purpose. Protect your peace by refusing to argue with people who repeatedly ignore your boundaries. Protect your future by placing your energy where it creates growth instead of endless frustration. Every unnecessary explanation you choose not to give is another step toward becoming a man whose life is guided by principle instead of impulse. Eventually, you reach a place where your actions communicate everything that truly matters. You no longer seek validation through speeches because your character speaks before you do. You no longer fear being misunderstood because your identity is built on your values rather than another person's approval. You no longer waste precious time trying to convince someone to respect you because you have learned that genuine respect cannot be negotiated. It is recognized or it is absent. Once you understand that truth, your words become fewer, your standards become stronger, your mind becomes quieter, and your life begins moving forward with a level of confidence that cannot be shaken by changing opinions or temporary emotions. If you are ready to build that stronger life, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men is linked in the comments, filled with timeless Stoic principles that will transform your life immediately. And the best part is that it's yours forever, giving you lifelong access to this life-changing wisdom whenever life tests your character again. It's now also available as an audiobook, so you can listen while taking a walk, jogging, training, or working, and the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men is launching in the coming weeks to take these lessons even deeper. Comment Blueprint below for early access and start building the discipline, confidence, self-respect, and inner strength that will continue serving you for the rest of your life, no matter what challenges come your way. Number 4. Choose better people. Your environment shapes your future. Every person you allow close to you quietly influences the standards you accept, the habits you repeat, and the direction your life takes. Many men work hard to improve themselves while staying surrounded by people who constantly distract them from the very life they are trying to build. One friend encourages endless complaining instead of taking action. Another laughs at discipline and calls it boring. Another tells you to settle for less because aiming higher is unrealistic. Then, when your confidence begins to disappear and your motivation becomes weaker, you wonder why everything feels heavier than it should. The answer is often closer than you think. The people around you either strengthen your character or slowly pull you away from the person you are capable of becoming. The same truth applies to relationships. If she repeatedly brings confusion into your life, ignores your boundaries, expects your time while refusing to respect it, or creates unnecessary drama instead of building trust, ask yourself an honest question. Is this relationship helping you become stronger, calmer, and more disciplined, or is it slowly turning you into someone you no longer recognize? That question changes everything because it shifts your attention away from trying to change another person and places it back where it belongs. You cannot build a peaceful life while constantly surrounding yourself with people who thrive on chaos. You cannot expect your confidence to grow if every conversation leaves you questioning your own worth. You cannot become focused if your daily routine is filled with distractions that steal your attention from your goals. Every great life is built on intentional choices, and one of the biggest choices you will ever make is deciding who deserves access to your time. Time is limited. Energy is limited. Attention is limited. Spend them wisely. Surround yourself with people who keep their word. Spend time with those who challenge you to become better instead of making excuses for staying the same. Build friendships with people who respect hard work, honesty, discipline, and responsibility. Find people who celebrate progress instead of mocking ambition. Those influences quietly become part of your thinking until growth begins to feel natural instead of difficult. At the same time, become willing to step away from relationships that repeatedly leave you emotionally exhausted. Holding on simply because you have invested time is not loyalty. Sometimes it is fear disguised as commitment. There is no reward for remaining in situations that repeatedly cost you your peace. Choosing distance does not make you cold. It means you finally understand that protecting your future is one of your greatest responsibilities. Many men remain trapped because they make one person the center of their entire emotional world. They stop investing in friendships. They stop pursuing meaningful goals. They slowly abandon hobbies, purpose, and personal growth until the relationship becomes the only thing holding their identity together. That creates dependence instead of strength. A healthy life is built differently. Your purpose comes first. Your principles remain steady. Your discipline continues whether someone stays beside you or chooses another path. Relationships should add to an already meaningful life, not become the only source of meaning you have. When you build that foundation, everything changes. You become calmer because your happiness no longer depends on constant reassurance. You become more confident because your self-respect is built through your own actions every single day. You become more selective because you stop confusing attention with genuine care. People notice this change immediately. They notice that you no longer chase acceptance at any cost. They notice that you value your peace enough to protect it. They notice that you walk away from situations that repeatedly cross your boundaries instead of making endless excuses. That quiet confidence attracts healthier relationships because it is rooted in character rather than insecurity. It also changes how you see yourself. You stop asking whether you are enough for someone else and begin asking whether the people entering your life deserve a place in it. That single shift protects you from wasting years trying to earn appreciation from people who are unwilling to give it freely. Keep choosing people who encourage honesty over games, consistency over confusion, and responsibility over excuses. Keep building a circle that reminds you of your values whenever life becomes difficult. Keep investing in friendships that push you toward your goals instead of pulling you away from them. Every healthy influence becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. Every wise decision strengthens your character. Every boundary you maintain protects your peace. As your circle improves, your standards naturally rise. Your confidence becomes quieter but stronger, and your life begins moving in a direction that no longer depends on another person's changing opinions. The greatest transformation often begins with a simple decision. Stop chasing people who repeatedly drain your energy and start walking beside those who inspire you to become the strongest version of yourself. Number 5. Stay calm. Do not let someone else control your emotions. The greatest power you will ever develop is the ability to remain steady when everything around you is trying to pull you away from your principles. Many men lose themselves, not because life becomes difficult, but because they allow another person's choices to decide whether they have a good day or a bad one. One message changes their mood. One cold response destroys their focus. One cancelled plan fills their mind with endless questions. Hours disappear as they search for answers that may never come, while their goals, responsibilities, and future quietly wait for their attention. This is where your life begins to change. Instead of asking why someone behaves the way they do, ask yourself a different question. What kind of man do you become every time you allow another person's actions to control your peace? That single question forces you to look inward instead of chasing explanations that may never satisfy you. Every difficult situation gives you two choices. You can react immediately, or you can pause long enough to choose the response that protects your dignity. That pause is where strength is built. It is easy to send an emotional message. It is easy to argue when your pride is hurt. It is easy to spend the night trying to prove your value to someone who has stopped appreciating it. The harder choice is remaining composed, accepting reality for what it is, and refusing to abandon your standards simply because your emotions become intense. Real confidence is measured by how well you govern yourself when circumstances become uncomfortable. If she pulls away, let your character remain the same. If she becomes distant, continue living according to your values. If she chooses a different path, keep walking toward your own purpose instead of standing still waiting for someone else's decision to determine your future. This is not about pretending nothing matters. It is about refusing to hand over control of your life. You cannot decide how another person thinks, what another person values, or whether another person recognizes your efforts. But you can decide how you spend your next hour, your next day, and your next year. Those choices shape your future, far more than anyone else's opinion ever will. Many men discover that the moment they stop reacting to every disappointment, their mind becomes quieter. They begin sleeping better because they are no longer replaying every conversation before closing their eyes. They become more productive because their attention returns to work that actually improves their lives. They begin training consistently, reading consistently, saving money consistently, and keeping promises to themselves. Those small daily victories slowly replace the need for constant reassurance, because confidence grows through action, not through endless discussion. Another important lesson is learning to separate temporary emotion from permanent decisions. Never allow one painful moment to push you into choices that do not reflect your character. Give yourself time. Breathe. Go for a walk. Train your body. Write your thoughts down. Spend time with people who challenge you to become better. Return to your responsibilities. Continue building your future. Every healthy action reminds you that your life is bigger than one difficult chapter. Over time, you notice something remarkable. Situations that once consumed your thoughts begin losing their influence. You stop checking your phone every few minutes because your attention belongs somewhere more valuable. You stop searching for hidden meanings because you begin judging people by consistent actions instead of uncertain possibilities. You stop fearing the loss of someone who repeatedly brings confusion into your life because you finally understand that protecting your peace is never a loss. It is an investment in the person you are becoming. There is great freedom in accepting that not every relationship is meant to last forever. and that not every ending is a failure. Sometimes an ending creates the space you need to become stronger, wiser, healthier, and more disciplined than you ever imagined possible. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice patience instead of impulse, discipline instead of distraction, and purpose instead of obsession. Those habits transform every area of your life because they are not limited to relationships. They improve your career because you make better decisions under pressure. They improve your finances because you stop making emotional choices. They improve your health because consistency replaces temporary motivation. They improve your friendships because you become someone others can depend on. They improve your confidence because your identity is built on your actions instead of external approval. Eventually you reach a point where your peace is no longer easily disturbed. You no longer need to prove your worth through constant attention. You no longer chase people who repeatedly fail to appreciate your presence. You no longer confuse emotional intensity with genuine connection. You become steady, focused, and purposeful. That quiet strength becomes part of who you are. It follows you into every conversation, every decision, every opportunity, and every challenge. The greatest victory is never making someone regret losing you. The greatest victory is becoming the kind of man who refuses to lose himself. When your principles guide your decisions, your discipline shapes your future, and your peace comes from within. No disappointment can permanently take away what truly matters. That is the life worth building, and every calm decision you make today moves you one step closer to becoming that man. If you are ready to stop chasing approval and start building unshakable self-respect, comment, "I choose discipline." Grab the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men, linked in the comments. Filled with timeless Stoic principles that will transform your life immediately. Now also available as an audiobook, so you can listen while taking a walk, jogging, training, driving, or working. Then like this video and subscribe to help more men discover these truths before they lose more years, trapped in the same painful cycle that too many voices in today's world quietly encourage. I am also finishing the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men, launching in the coming weeks. Built from more than 2,000 years of timeless Stoic principles that have stood the test of time. And now it is your turn to apply them to your life and relationships. So secure this life-changing knowledge that will be yours forever, and become one of the first to experience the complete transformation.